Last time on The Empire's Edge.
Who knows who's actually on Sylvain's payroll?
Does it look similar to the kind of construction we saw at Sarntar Azul? Like this could be some road that leads all the way there?
I want eyes on my foe.
So I'm casting Thunderwave. Splishy splashy!
Oh, God.
I have a lovely...
Tidal wave?
Oh yeah, I mean tidal waves.
That griffin is now attacking you, Jacob.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I'm down.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh!
You had 8 hit points
I had 8
left.
hit points left.
Next roll, death saves.
And 12 radiant.
It drops. Behind you, it's just the entire valley where Shepton is down below, very, very clear. But looking in the direction you're heading toward, through this pass, you're looking into the valley of Sarntar Azul. So what's your first course of action? To lay
Resting.
low for... Let me think about that, resting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as I see it, I'm still sitting pretty at 36 hit points, which I'd like to not be.
I'm at 74 of 88.
I'd like to look at that cave thing where they were living, that it looked like it maybe was the mouth of another tunnel.
Scoop out all the stinky bits, prepare it for our camp.
Oh,
Make
and
sure
I
there's
still
no
have
one
the
else in
dogs.
there.
I still have the blink
Oh,
dogs
yeah,
going
yeah.
around.
That
Oh, yeah,
one.
because that was like 6 seconds
Is there
ago.
any cook lizard? Is there any lizard still around?
There
this
is.
cave?
There's
So
the,
It's
I'm
a bit
gonna,
damp.
it's on
I'm
a
gonna
spit. Yeah.
feed some of the.
Actually, I think all the water went away. So
Yeah,
even,
it
like,
did,
the
it
summer
vanished.
Well, it
water
still
just-
put out the fire, though. That was part of
It
the
did,
write-up.
yeah.
So I'm gonna feed the blink dogs some of the cook lizard as a reward, and then
The funniest bit of that to me is that they're sentient. Like, they're human intelligence. They
Yeah.
just don't speak common.
Oh, and we just
So
give
is
them
that
food and
mean
then
to-
dismiss them.
No. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I'm just
Okay.
picturing the idea of you just like basically hiring a guy and just like hand feeding him as a thing.
I know, but I don't think it's condescending. I think it's actually kind of nice.
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay.
I agree. It's the exact correct thing to do. I find it entertaining.
I'm trying to understand these things. So yes,
All right, so
that's what
so Jacob, you like walk, shuffle over to
Not alone.
Yeah, Jacob has cast Boris Goes First.
Yeah, no.
No, I was going to say that you find a nice scrubby cedar to recline
good,
against,
yeah.
like you have a very small and you have a little bit of shade, and you're just resting. Am I getting
Yeah,
that right?
though I am no longer dying, I definitely have had the wind knocked out of me. I'm going to sit for a bit. And
Make sure you make sure you
do I have to bleep that one?
make sure you sit with your bow so that way you can
Oh
shoot.
yeah, no, I will maintain watch, head on a swivel. I'll just be stationary, watching them do this
I
stuff.
blended sit and shoot, and it became awkward.
And then Zelen, you're taking out your knife and carving
Yeah,
pieces of meat off
pieces
the
of
part
meat
that's
to
already
give to
cooked.
the blink dogs, and then
I will nose around in
Dismissing
the
them.
cavern,
Got it.
as is my
Now, what I
prerogative.
wonder about is, I guess it did draw the heat off of the coals, because when all the water goes away, it isn't as though the cook fire is drenched. It's not soggy wet.
One would assume the steam goes as well.
Yeah, but
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the
but I mean,
heat. yeah,
if all that water dissipates, it just put out the fire. So I guess it's perfectly dry now. It could be relit.
it is dry. You could relight it, keep cooking stuff if you
Right.
wanted to.
I'll do
It's
that.
Just,
That's
it
where I'll
just
sit.
drew a lot of heat off of it, so it has
Yeah.
to kindle again.
Ah,
All
yeah.
right, so
Throw an
Jacob,
Etten on the fire.
Jacob is tending fire while Zelen is feeding the dogs Boris.
I am starting to explore the cave.
All right, so the first thing you had noted, and you're all looking right up at it, is that the outside stone, the actual like the lining around the edge of the cave and the keystone is definitely from that older time period. It's Krenlan or it's Bravis.
So it's more substantial than a cave?
It is.
does
The
it
cave
match?
like
Does it
domicile.
match the tunnel like the tunnel entries that we've seen before?
If I
It's-
start walking and it's just like a mile of tunnel, I'm just turning back around and coming back
Okay,
up.
it is very much like that, Zelen.
Okay.
That it looks very much like, the stones are not exactly the same stone. They used whatever they had up here. That there was more exotic stones that were down below, but up here it looks as though they used a lot of limestone to form this. So it's less decorative looking, it's less pretty looking, but it was definitely constructed with a high caliber of skill. Boris, as you are walking inside it, you can see that the actual work stone of the tunnel itself only goes back about 15, 20 feet, and then it looks as though there was a massive collapse.
Okay.
That you can see where there are still pieces of work stone in part of the low walls inside here, but like the entire ceiling came down, so it's exposed rock above it and along a lot of the wall space. But it looks like the Ettins themselves had excavated this space, or maybe
Okay.
one of them had.
Right.
And the stone that was outside of this, stacked around it, like Jacob had asked, is there stone above it? No, I guess Zelen had asked if there stone above it that could be tumbled down or something. That they've been doing a lot of excavating work to open this up. So you're not sure how sound it is up overhead, but all of the collapse has been removed. It only goes back about 55, 60 feet, something like that, about
Right.
20 feet wide. It's a little wider at the far end. And as you're walking back to that point, there's still enough light you can see, and it looks like a very, Stone Age looking kind of camp. That there's bones, there's hides, there's very rudimentary tools that are also made out of like bones and stone, the occasional ironwork piece of something. But it looks like one or the other of these Ettins have lived in here for a long time.
Okay. Unless it's just too gross to take care of, I'm probably going to retrieve one of their battle axes and use that as like a scraper / broom to remove anything icky in there to clear it out as an actual campsite.
Okay, sure.
Wouldn't
You
it
could
be?
For the shelter.
Wouldn't all their tools be way oversized for us? Because weren't these things like really huge?
Yeah, they're large-sized creatures, so their battle axe would be my great axe.
I
can
see,
still
okay.
And
Okay.
Boris, real strong.
So
and I'm
if
not
the
fighting with it. I'm just using it as
A
an
scraper.
A scraper.
so I don't have to grab them,
Yeah,
any like
so-
skins or blankets.
So,
or
Right.
anything
so
directly.
to that point, yes, you definitely can. You grab a battle axe and you start pushing all this stuff off to a side.
Yeah.
You see there is what's tantamount to a big pallet of what is probably lizard skins that they've been rough drying, kind of rough
Yeah.
curing them, and then using that as a sleeping pallet.
So if the blink dogs are all fed, I'm going to dismiss them and I'm going to join Boris.
Okay, yeah.
In preparing campsite.
Well, yeah, and I also want to study the walls to see if, like,
there is anything useful, yeah. That
right.
could be
Well,
neat.
and to see if there's any other openings, to see if there's any carvings from old Bravis, just anything.
Anything they've been doing culturally, because
Right.
they might have something.
Yeah, who knows?
All right, so go ahead and do that as a, I guess, a perception to see if you can pick up anything in the stone itself or how it is arranged as a tunnel.
So that's 25.
So the first thing you're aware of is that this cave is going in the wrong direction to be part of this road. That if this were to be borne straight through the entire part of the peak that is making a portion of this, the actual pass itself, then you're actually going to be coming out in air on the other side. It's just heading out into dead air space. It looks like it might have been more of a cellar or some other kind of a room to a larger structure.
Oh.
They built this in bunker-ish because when you go to the very back of it and you're looking at it, you can see old chisel marks where they were drilling into it, but it looks as though they decidedly stopped. Like they all line up to the same point. Like somebody had said, and we're done. We don't need to dig any further in.
I'm going to share that I don't think this is a collapsed tunnel. I think this is actually a purposely created space.
Yeah, the remains of a basement when the rest of the hill went sliding down the mountain.
Right. Yeah. Something like that. So
That says a lot about the stability of the region.
I'm gonna look
Not a lot of
around and
stability,
see if I can tell anything else. Anything I can. What was it used for a cellar? Is there anything that would indicate that to me?
As
Is
you
there...
turn around and look back out, and Boris, you could roll that perception too as you're standing there with Zelen. And you can see Jacob sitting by the fire and he's getting it going again. That through the opening, the tunnel entrance, you really can see more clearly now. There's this like slightly bowl sort of shape of the area that's just outside it. There isn't really a wall, so to speak, but it's very circular. And it's easy to imagine because of everything you've gone through with the Zongo and other structures you've seen, that there could have been either a very squat, circular building right here, or there could have been a very tall circular building, very tower-like right here.
Yeah, a
long
watchtower
time
at one
ago.
end of the pass. Yeah, it makes sense.
And
And-
this
and-
could have been like a wine cellar,
16
a
on that
readout.
perception.
Got it.
Or any other kind of storeroom.
Right.
Yeah.
So as you're looking out there, Boris, you point and say, look how on the far side of the kind of shrug circle that there is an outcropping of rock that is right near where it looks like the trail would go to continue. So heading further south and west toward that next pass, that there is a piece of rock that looks like it might have actually still been wall,
Huh.
or it was carved to make it wall-like.
Eroded wall, yeah.
Exactly. You have to go over there to, back outside to examine that any more
Once
closely.
the camp is more or less ready, I will do that. Even
So
if I
what do you
have
guys
to
do with all the bodies that are here?
kick them down the hill.
All right, so back the way you came.
Not quite so directly down the path, more just kind of over into
Okay, so like
woods.
where Jacob had been climbing up.
unincorporated area, so like no one should pass them. Maybe animals would find them, but no people.
Yeah, so
where,
the
where
best
they'll be
spot-
left alone and won't be just immediately stinking up the joint.
Right, so the best spot would be about where Jacob had initially climbed up off to that one side.
Mm-hmm.
You're making like a flanking maneuver. So yeah, and after a little bit, with your strength, you guys can dump those things over.
Okay.
All right, so you're back outside again. Jacob, you have the fire going. And
I do.
It looks like they've gone probably a pretty good distance. Most of it is cedar and some ash, this kind of scrubby stuff up here. but they might actually go much, much further afield to gather. Well, if they're getting these lizards, if they're either capturing them, killing them from a distance, they might actually be venturing as far as the Bugbear Valley and then coming back up here as a place of either solitude or safety, and that they take wood with them.
It is a heck
not,
of a readout.
There's not enough up here that they could have consistent and sustained fires.
Yeah. Okay.
Are there any paths that we notice, like any areas that they seem to regularly go one way or the other?
Yes, there is, in the very direction that Boris had seen, that little piece of like a low wall made into the stone, like the only part of the this circular area. There's a path that is moving in that direction southwest. Where you guys came up, there was no path right there at all. You were just moving up that notch that was coming up where the two hills came together. So from their point of view, that was the only way to get to them, was to come down the path that's really opposite their cave entrance. And you guys came from a completely different direction. They
Which
would have
was
never
lucky for
expected.
Shepton that they didn't realize
Right,
Shepton
no
was
kidding.
down there.
There
Yeah.
might not have been a Shepton.
Ooh, yeah. Good point.
Right, all that. So Boris, you're out there, and we'll keep your other perception roll. You said it was a
16.
16. Then,
And if it's getting dark, I can use the light cantrip, which I have now, and I'm very excited about.
okay, so it's probably only
To
about
produce some light for myself.
like 4:15 in the afternoon. So
okay,
it's still
cool.
fairly
I wasn't
light.
sure how long it took to empty out the room.
Yeah, not very, very long. So
They
It's
were
like, 'cause if an
poor and
hour's
had
gone
little.
by, I've been pretty sedentary. I would go ahead and take a short rest, just in case anything happens before
Yeah,
that.
Technically,
long rest.
all of this has qualified as light work and
for all of you, yeah. So yeah, you all can
short rest.
do
as
short
well.
rest if you wish.
I will do that on my own time.
It is not laid stone as a wall. That this
Right.
little portion of it, the whole thing about the size of a couch. This piece of stone.
Okay.
But you can see that it was natural stone to the top of the mountain that was shaped to fit whatever this circle was. And if the actual piece of natural stone that's been worked both inside and out gives you an indication, then the exterior walls of this must have been about 15 or so feet thick.
Wow.
But there is no laid stone anywhere on the top of this
it's
any longer.
all gone. That's
So our feeling is that this was a watchtower up here at some point back in the time of Old
Yeah, or-
Bravis, and then the cave
Or
was
the Krenlan
kind of
Protectorate, yeah.
a storage room.
an offshoot of
Yeah,
it.
that's all real
Got
reasonable.
it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's some kind of like a watch keep or something like that.
Yeah.
Feeling
yeah.
better now that you had a short rest?
Yeah, I spent 5 hit die and back up to max.
Oh, very good. Yeah, you gotta love 5e for that. How are you feeling? Ding. Great.
It was a great fire.
Yeah,
Some
I
good
spent
lizard.
my warlock hit die and I'm up to 84.
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm going to send Jast around 100 feet in all directions just to see if she sees any other movements, anything else. Did these things have any other
The other
friends?
6 Ettins. that-
Exactly,
Yeah.
that are going to be coming and checking because they were
All the other
they were meeting for
Cyclopses
dinner.
and Polyphemus
And while
Um,
she's doing it aerially, I'll do like probably maybe 50 feet from the camp. I'll do like a loop around a perimeter,
Yeah.
and see if I can find any
Can't
tracks.
you do
of-
just like the sense spell thing?
I can, but it doesn't tell me where. It just says if there's a thing nearby.
Well,
And-
yeah, and you're in your favorite terrain, so it's
And
a
you'd rather
massive
just
area.
look.
I know, and that's the weirdest part. Is like in my favorite terrain, it gets even worse because I don't know where it is. I just know there's something within 6 miles of me. I'm like,
6
great.
miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. All right. So Zelen first, that as you are doing that kind of reconnaissance, you realize that you're on what would be like the shoulder of a hogback ridge. That it's a very, very tall ridge, and you are where all the steep sides come up at one end. But that ridge actually bumps into another ridge, and that's what formed this gap. So
Got
when you
it.
came through that gap, you're really at the very top end of that one ridge. So there's not a lot of places to go except down or along the top of that ridge, which is running roughly southwest.
Okay.
So it points in the direction of where Jacob is saying Sarntar Azul is.
So I'm going to share that information with Jacob, what I'm seeing and how from that kind of aerial view, how these things are laying out.
And you're
Okay.
getting
Nice.
the same thing. When you do your perimeter, Jacob, on the one side, you can't move very easily because it's this craggy peak that,
Well, actually, I can.
well, you probably wouldn't want to.
Yeah, I
because
know,
Yeah,
can
you can
see-
move easily to a fall.
Oh yeah.
because it's just it's very conical, and that's where I was saying that if this tunnel had been continued, the storage room, it would just come right off the other side of that peak, like another 200 or 300 feet away.
Yeah.
So you can go up on the shoulders and the edges of that crag that forms part of the pass, but eventually you're just going around the entire thing above where you climbed up initially, well above where the bodies of the Ettins have fallen to. Then you're back down to the area that is where this tower would have been. The tower is actually occupying the best spot at this end of this hill. So when Zelen comes up and shares what she had noted, you were thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of places to go or other layers for things to hide.
Yeah, one thing I did actually want to do just to make sure is looking specifically for any tracks from Ettins and knowing if they have, I can figure out exact numbers, so just reinforcing that there are already only 2 in the area, or is there potentially more?
Is that a nature check for you?
So it's
Survival.
Actually,
Or survival,
what is the actual thing? It's a thing. Well, while tracking creatures, you learn the exact number, sizes, and how long since they passed through the area.
Okay, sure.
24.
That it looks like there's only been 2 Ettins and 2 Griffins that have moved through this area.
Fantastic.
That's going, let's say, 200 or 300 feet up, or I should say up. It's along the trail that's really the spine of this ridge.
Okay.
And that it looks like one of the Ettins came back dragging what you would think would be the lizard a day ago.
Okay, perfect. So
And so apart from that, nothing else has been moving around in this area.
I return back with that information, knowing that aside from randomly having a lizard come up this high or a wasp finding a house, bugbears.
Yeah, I
you should be
wonder.
pretty
I
safe.
wonder how they got the griffins. I mean, I wouldn't think that those would be common
eggs.
annuals.
Those are those mythical, like magical beasts? Like, would the pelt or anything about these things be valuable that we'd want to take?
Go ahead and roll an Arcana.
Jacob says this aloud.
Yeah, I will too.
Yeah, because Arcana.
My
though I
6
have-
says no.
Oh, I mean,
What does my 21 say?
oh,
Your
better
20
than my 16.
Yeah, as you're asking each other, your 21 says no. That there could be wizards somewhere that could use some portions of them for, components for potion spells, something like that. There's nothing you know about them specifically. You could make leather out of their hide if you wanted to, but there's nothing you know about it that would be any better or supple than anything else.
I'm also wondering, purely for a fashion statement, how impressive would a griffin hood be? Like wearing that as like a cape kind of a thing, but how much of a pain in the butt would it be to kind of take that with me until I can
Now
actually...
that it's been tumbled down a hill,
It'd probably be
very-
very,
That's right, we can dump it
it'd
off.
probably be very impressive, and it's a little battered too.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
a griffin's coming at you, you're kind of
Dog
aiming
bitten.
at head and bird shoulders.
Yeah,
and
I've
wings.
just been cracking a hammer though, so
Yeah.
the actual skin should be more or less
Yeah,
okay.
right. So it might be easier to skin.
Yeah, but
I've
I'm also
tenderized
realizing
it.
this all after they're at the bottom of the mountain. Like, probably not.
Okay, so with all of your checks too, you do note that as the late afternoon is wearing away, that from the due west, which is like further down like the long length of the Brimroar Hills, that there are very dark clouds that are forming in that direction. And it looks like they're blowing this way. Jacob, you would figure that they're probably going to be here in just a couple of hours.
Ew. Okay.
So I guess we're staying here.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
cave seemed like the best thing to protect us from a storm.
Yeah.
Can we use the hides in any way since we have a few hours, can we use the hides to make
Kind of try and close it a bit.
right, yeah,
Make a bit
to
more of a
make a
room.
frame or something that we can push against the cave entrance?
The only
so that-
logs you could use, like to prop things that you found, would be the spit itself if you disassembled it and, I guess, dragged the.
Yeah, we
the
might as
lizard
well
in.
because we can't cook out there if a storm's going to blow through.
The spit was right in the doorway
right in the
itself.
doorway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, some of the lizard is cooked. Like if you keep slicing off its,
Yeah.
the exposed areas, the outside meat, but there's definitely still raw that's way deep in there. So you make your call.
Um,
We have our rations. We're fine.
Well, I'm going to take the cooked part of the lizard and roll the raw part of the lizard out and use the
Spit to make that
use
screen.
the spit to make a screen with the dried lizard skins. They had a whole stack of dried lizard skins, and use that to try to.
Okay, so go ahead and make that
make a
as a
shelter on
dex
the
roll,
door.
Yum, lizard
just to see
chicharrones.
how well you can put this thing together. And I would
Anybody
imagine
helping me?
you
Sure,
could
yeah.
use
What is it?
bits of rope or
Ooh, I rolled a
string
19.
or other
Huh.
materials you have to try
Can I
to
do this as a siege craft? Because that's
Welcome together.
as close to buildy or
Oh, yeah, that
constructy
would
as
make
we have
sense.
in
go right ahead.
any
Yeah.
edition.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what to
that'd
add
be
to
a
it.
21.
Yeah. So
Just my normal dexterity is a +4, so that'd be a 23.
yeah. So yeah, the two of you working together, Jacob, it's amazing.
You sounded panicked and then
As-
rolled better than me.
As you guys watch them make what's tantamount to a screen. Now, as that's happening, it gets really dark in here. Now, it doesn't
Light.
stop all the light. So, yeah, Boris just tapped himself on the head and said,
Yeah,
light,
best spot for light,
light.
to
Yeah,
be.
right
It's
on
not
top
my
of your,
eyes.
top of your
right?
helmet. Yeah.
Like an anglerfish, but better.
Yeah, because I'm way more dangerous than an anglerfish.
Unless it was like a 30-foot long anglerfish.
We don't
Oh,
talk about the
So
dire fish.
with my knowledge of nature, is there anything about these storms coming at us that seems purposeful
Roll it.
or
I'm also knowledgeable in nature, but I can't.
I
oh wait,
know
I have
religion.
proficiency. I'll just help you. I think your plus is
oh,
better.
I rolled a 1.
Well, here, roll with advantage. I'll let you roll twice.
So, yeah,
23 on a religion check?
Initially, Zelen said,
18.
There are raindrops.
and splashy. 22.
It looks natural, like you'd see coming across these regions of the Brimroar.
Did you roll religion against the
I
storm?
did, yeah.
Yeah, there seems to be nothing religious about it.
Okay.
It doesn't look
God
as
is
though
angry.
Uko is angry that you killed griffins
Well, you
or
never know.
Ettins.
Okay.
I hope of all people he would know.
Yeah, right.
If
All
we
right.
killed griffins and he's like, oh yeah, I wasn't supposed to do that. Like that would have been very bad.
I am now an Oathbreaker, and I'm pacted with Perfidion. Hey, guess who's dying? The party.
Is there anything that we could use? Oh, we have torches. I'm going to set up a couple of torches, produce flames, set up a couple of torches in the cave.
Okay, that's fine.
Light.
And again,
I know your head
It's like
is
one of those
lit.
little clicky
You
lights you
want
put in the closet. You just go.
all right, so then in a couple of hours, you guys have made it fairly cozy for yourself. I'm guessing closer to the entranceway, or are you going further back into the cave where there's
Further back in
How
where
far
it's
back does
dry.
it go? Oh no, you
50
just
feet.
reached a wall,
Yeah,
right?
about-
Yeah.
a little over 50 feet, yeah.
Yeah.
Further
So-
back to where the dry is.
Yeah.
All right,
Because we cleaned out all leftovers
gunk.
of Etten.
Within an hour, it gets dark enough that there isn't any light coming from the outside.
Cool.
And
Wow.
the
That's why we
storm-
have helmet.
the storm really starts up. There is no moisture dripping through the cave anywhere, but you can hear the wind pounding against the outside of this mountain, through the tunnel entrance. And it looks like your
Screen.
that screen you've made, is under assault itself. It's like twisting into the open area. So after an hour, it's still there and fine. Another hour goes by, and it is ripped partially open, and has been.
Do you know the cantrip mending?
I was
'Cause
about to
don't.
ask the exact same thing. Yeah.
I don't.
And then by the third hour, and you guys can get, actually, it stays pretty collapsed on that one side. So air's moving through it. You're staying dry back where you are, but it's
It's kind of cold.
it's a pretty massive storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does bring that cold air
Glad we
with
had
it.
the shelter.
So you guys just gonna pack up, go to sleep, and wait for tomorrow? or
I
what?
think we should set watches.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
There've been enough shenanigans ensuing, and this is nice enough a sheltered spot that any surprise visitor might not be a bugbear, but it might be a regular bear.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I'd like to sleep so I can get my spells back.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
that too.
I think
Seconded.
Maybe it might have been part of the original preparations, but just doing something to where if the screen does give way, we've put the tantamount of sandbags to stop any water that would be trickling into the cave that way.
I think the main beneficiary of that is it goes, I'd bet, slightly downhill.
It
towards
does
the
down
mouth.
from the outside, but
And there's a great big bowl out front.
Okay, cool.
A point taken that you are. Yeah, you can whatever you lose detritus, dirt, whatnot.
so-
You're kind of making a little bit of a berm just to make sure
Exactly.
you check it.
And so
periodically.
well, then we take our watches that way.
Okay.
No one has to be woken up by feeling
Water
like they beat
dripping into their,
themselves.
into their bedroll, right? Jacob and Zelen, what were those nature checks you made just a little bit ago? when you
I
first-
gave her advantage.
Okay, so what was your
24,
Three.
I think. 23. Okay.
23? Okay, just wanted to check on something. All right, great. So we go through the night, and during the nighttime, actually, the point I was making with that roll is that the two of you, both the range and the druid, you would think that no natural animals probably even come anywhere near this place because there are peak predators up here,
Right.
and they wouldn't even try to challenge it without, making stabs into its area to see
What
if things are here.
unnatural predators are going to come bother us?
Yeah, so if anything
Oh,
does
crap.
come, it's pretty bad. And during, let's see, 1, 2, 3.
I've got the song from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang stuck in my head.
Boris, during your watch, you can hear that for a moment there was what sounded like the rasping sound of one of those lizards, like taking air in. Somewhere out there, then you hear splashing that's out there in the pool that is forming in that circular area. But then it seems to have, been startled by something and then runs back off again.
Okay. I was about to go neat opening fire, but then you said it ran out. I was about to do a second level guiding bolt to just try and light it up, literally and figuratively.
Have I had a long rest yet?
So when
You're asleep.
morning comes and you wake up because your body no longer requires sleep, it is still dark and it is still storming.
Oh, well,
Well, crap.
that's...
So either we have a very interesting narrative episode delving into each other's personalities and bearing our deepest, darkest secrets and soul, or we get a little wet.
We have
I
to
vote a
walk around
little
the
wet.
rain.
I vote
So-
for a flashback episode where we all think back to what life was like in Grind before all this crap happened.
Okay, go for it.
It's just all of us just rolling rolls to operate in a village.
But
It was a
again,
crisp autumn day.
you've seen these kind of storms before, and that's Jacob and Zelen. And as they're describing it, Boris, you recognize that when they're talking about this storm that happens periodically, it'd be tantamount to what would happen in your own barony if there was a blizzard. That it could go on for days and days and days.
Oh,
That
wow.
There is some, moist air mass that has moved into this area from the west, and it's hitting this part of the
Stuck on the
mountains,
mountain.
and it's just stopped. It's just dumping water here. So,
Lovely.
which might even explain why this tower has been completely knocked down.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it
I-
makes
yeah.
a lot of sense.
mean-
I left my water bending in my other warlock.
And I mean, looking at the write-up of Natural Explorer, nothing about this storm, unless it's magical, would impede our ability to travel and not get lost. So I'm for the idea of, even though we're going to get wet, still moving forward.
All right.
yeah,
So
yeah, we've got hoods and cloaks.
pack up gear,
Yeah.
bundle it up.
Now I really wish I had made that griffin.
right. It's still down
You know,
there.
I wonder if
A
those
little
lizard
soggy.
skins that are stacked in the corner, if there are any we didn't use, if they would shed water better.
Yummy lizard ponchos.
Well, I mean, really, they might, because they're lizards, so they
Honestly,
might share water
Yeah,
better.
I'd rather 2 cloak than 1 cloak.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
seconded.
Yep.
Put
Right,
your
so-
hands through the arms of
I don't think they're taken quite that intact.
Jacob,
probably.
go ahead and do a survival check. That as you get these
That's
very
12, bud.
I almost rolled the D12, yeah.
they're rough dried skins. They're not actually worked leather.
We
They're
chew
not,
on
they're
them
not
to
cured.
soften them.
That it would probably take you about an hour to work up 3 of these. Running it through a couple of points of rock in here to soften up that they're anything other than like kind of a leather board.
14 for survival.
Yeah, so you can definitely do it at a 14. You're very aware of this technique, and
I mean, we've got the time.
So in an hour's time, it's
We've got
still
days potentially.
dark and storming, but you have loosened these up enough that you could wrap them around your shoulders and have a little more
I'm actually
protection.
very happy that you do have light, because torches aren't going to work outside. So
Yeah, right?
yeah, we make our secondary cloaks to protect from the water, and once we're all ready to go, anyone else have any business to attend to before we leave?
The only other thing is I can cast dark vision, and I'm wondering if that would help in this rainy
What's the duration for it?
8 hours.
Ooh,
Okay.
yeah.
Creature
Maybe.
has dark vision out to a range of 60 feet. So it doesn't have to be like cave dark. It could be like, because it's dark outside.
All right, so it would be, it's tough to tell when it's so dark like this, but you'd think it's fairly early morning,
Okay.
8 o'clock-ish, maybe 9.
My
as
impeccable internal clock.
You're deciding, right, to head out. So are you casting it then,
Yeah,
Zelen?
I'm going to cast dark vision.
All right, so
On just you or the bunch of us?
I don't know.
What level spell is it? Because if it's too high, it might
It's a
be.
second level touch. You touch a willing creature to grant it the ability to see in the dark.
Does it have like at higher levels you can target more creatures?
Well, I could just cast it more than once.
Oh yeah, I'm just. If you wanted to save multiple second level spell slots versus using 1/3.
No, it doesn't say that.
Well,
Do you need it? Do you need dark vision?
My light will screw with your dark vision.
oh, that's true.
So,
maybe hang on to it.
oh wait, no, actually, sorry, that's the wrong edition. I don't think my light actually does anything to your dark vision.
Okay. So then I could cast
He
it
is
just on
checking it
me,
out. It is
and
5e.
I could cast it on me and Jacob,
It's a video
or
game,
Jacob and I,
basically.
rather.
Yeah, I'm looking to make sure. Like, there's no reason why I would, for some reason, have low light or dark vision.
Let's see. According to forums, the rules don't state that you're unable to use dark vision when in an area of normal or any other kind of light. Therefore, other light sources don't spoil your dark vision. Yeah,
So-
neat.
If
So
you-
then you're okay with your headlamp.
Yeah, yeah.
I
My
guess
eternal
that-
headlamp.
And so then if you were to put pull that hide cloak up over your head and cover that light, then she could use the dark vision, or even with that
She
light
can-
there, she can use it any
She
old
can
way.
use it just fine.
Okay.
That she treats normal darkness as dim light and dim light as bright light.
Perfect. Great.
So
Oh.
do you want dark vision as well, Jacob?
Yeah, I'll take it. And by the way, that 14 was actually a 17, if that makes our ponchos any better, because I forgot to add.
No, that was just you could soften them up.
Okay.
So since we're just kind of walking and it's kind of like cash walking, does that count as short rest stuff?
I mean, do you
it's
need?
in- you're
oh,
allowed
would you
to
get
move
you get
around.
spell you get
Right.
spells back? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but you are also fighting against the storm blasting on this ridge line.
yeah.
So
That's
I'd
true.
say no. It's
Fair.
effort and exertion to do this. Now,
But good question.
It is.
Fantastic
Let's
question.
talk about the actual logistics when you come out of this. So as you get past the remains of the screen, you are having to skirt the little pool that's formed in front of you.
Right.
That from gauging from yesterday where you were standing, that you would think in the middle it's probably about like 3 feet deep. and it would make a nice water supply. It doesn't look as though it's draining anywhere, so it probably just stays in here until it evaporates or is used
consumed.
up. And you get to the far side, and that is where Boris was examining that one stone that must have been like the foundation of part of the wall of this former tower. Jacob, you can pick up where the trail goes out from that side, and it's easy to follow because it really is the spine of this ridge, and there are no trees. It's just that periodically the like the right hand side or the left hand side is a little bit higher than where the trail is, and so you have a little bit of like, for a little bit some protection against the wind, but you're still soaking wet, and then you come out from the lee of that, and that wind just blasts you all over again.
By this point, have we come across that section of road that I had seen when I jumped ahead?
I think we did that like yesterday.
Okay. I was just saying, okay.
Yeah, that was way back before you even got to where this.
So every hour, and it's a nice way to keep track of how long we've been going. I need to re-up light.
Okay, yeah. So you're just keeping track of that yourself. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
And
so
with my dark vision, do we at any point want me to? Because now that we're back in the tree cover, or at least in and out of it.
not yet. You're
No.
still
Yeah,
still,
We're
you're
still
walking
on the
along
ridge.
the
still
top
above the
ridge.
tree line on this ridge.
Then belay that.
Okay. Yeah. So
Then I conjure a coniferous tree.
Oh, by the way, it's good to say. I also have dark vision, so if you want to take back one of your spell slots, I can cast that on myself. Because Victor
good.
yelled
Yeah,
at me
let's do
about
that.
like having that and not using it
All
before.
right, I'm taking my spell slot back.
Yeah, you can take it back. I'll
all right, we'll retroplay that.
you
That's
doing
fine.
that. I'm like, oh yeah, dark vision, good idea. There we go.
All right. So
Turning the dial on your head.
you've been walking for hours. You're through this terrain along this ridge line, and it's difficult to see anything else. You're just socked in the middle of a cloud, so you can't see much ahead of you than just as far as your own light is going. That is Boris's light, and I'm guessing standard walking order that Boris is up
Yeah.
front,
Me
Zelda's
in the middle.
Yeah.
So we should probably start scouting for some place that we could
Shelter.
shelter. Mm-hmm.
Well, as you get to the point that Jacob, you note, some of the scrubby stuff that's growing up here, it's getting a little taller, a little thicker. I think we've actually been descending for a little while. And then you do get down to where there are, again, very scrubby, cedars and pines, but nothing to be much bigger than like your thigh.
Okay.
That they're very small stuff, very twisted up here on the top of this ridge. And then after you after you walk like about another hour or so, that you are coming in the lee of the ridge. There's more protection, and this path seems to be staying on the east side of that of the actual point of the ridge.
Okay.
And then once you get into the lee of that with more protection, your feet touch down on flat rock, and you realize you're on a road again.
Oh.
Nice.
How about
Okay.
that?
Pointing that
So
out.
now, does any of this look like this was where those giant things walked, or have we been on the road this whole time?
I'm willing to bet. I mean, I can take a look, but probably with the amount of torrential downpour that's been happening, any tracks would be destroyed. But I mean, that's pretty good though.
Yeah.
With pluses.
You don't know.
28.
Yeah, 28. Wow.
Yeah.
You would think that there was actually just not a place to turn off of here. That more than likely the Ettins still walk to this point to the road.
Even if I can't see trails.
An Etten turd. Those are impossible to walk away.
periodically. The worst kind of road apple. You continue on the road again. It's hugging.
That's what you call horse leavings
I've
because they're
never-
about that side and
I
shit.
never knew that.
How much time do you spend
Road
around
apple.
horses?
Road apple, yeah.
Less than enough to know a road apple.
We
So-
called them horse apples at work, but that's because there's no road at work.
Oh, good point.
That when you walk for about another hour, so at this point you guys are getting into the afternoon, that the road itself is very broken up, and every once in a while there's collapsed portions to it, and then you can reacquire the road again, but it's still running the direction that you want, and the ridge is getting taller and taller on your right hand side, and there are more trees, but again they're still pretty small. But then, and the storm is not abated, it is still just pounding as hard as it had before, that the road suddenly stops.
Oh.
Oh,
And right in
that's
front
not
of you,
good.
you
No,
can see that from right to left, there is about a 40 or so degree slope in front of you, as though the road
Wow.
completely
That's
washed
steep.
out. Steep,
Ooh.
like a roof kind of steep. And just at the edge of your vision, Jacob,
Mhm.
you can see the road reacquiring out there, but getting out to it means crossing what looks like a shale area of very loose stone.
Okay, is it like a gully though? Like, is there like a
there's different washouts in it that to walk straight to the road you couldn't. You'd be undulating up and down
Okay.
as though there's like a waviness to a roof, but you're halfway down the roof trying to walk across it as you're getting over to the next part that seems to be flat.
Okay, wait a minute. So I can't picture this. So it's like there's been like an avalanche or something?
Exactly.
Yeah, like what happened to the tower has happened to the road. So there's like blasted, washed out chunks, and we're gonna have to descend into like basically a big gravel pit and try and scramble our way down and scramble our way
and
back
then
up.
scramble back
But
up
to,
again to get
Like an island basically of
But the gravel
road.
pit is steep, almost like a staircase is about 37-degree angle, and this is like that or a little
Is it really?
yeah.
Wow.
Well, anywhere from like
So-
30 to like 35, 37 is comfortable. Yeah.
Huh.
So
Do you want me to
stands 14.
cast
Today I learned.
Cast conjure woodland beings and ask my little fairy people to cast fly on us?
Actually, what
holy
you could
crap,
do.
that's an option.
Oh yeah, that. Or I was talking about like that's better than what I was thinking. It's like, oh, you mean like turning us into gorillas again, and we could just run through it all? But
Go ahead and do a wisdom check.
Do a wisdom check.
Yeah, so not a perception, just a wisdom.
oh yeah, is maneuverability
Oh wait,
a thing?
we have wind.
That's
We're
like-
gonna get thrashed
It's
if we
man-
fly up into the
Oh,
storm.
I don't know.
So Boris just says it that
Okay.
yeah, if you do cast that, you can be blown so far out over, and the direction it's coming from, you'd be being blown out over the Bugbear Valley. You'd have no reference points to even see.
Okay, back to my gorilla idea. If
Yeah.
we gain a climb speed, we might be able to just get through this area pretty quickly. If we can just stay on the ground, but
Assuming
move.
the pixies don't get blown to their deaths.
Did the
So,
pixies? Oh, the pixies.
Jacob, do a
Because
nature
they're
check
flying.
too.
Oh, is it concentration for them?
Yeah.
Oh wait, we could hold on to the
I
pixies.
mean, a survival check, Jacob.
Survival. 15. Yeah,
You
15.
you are positive that in this kind of like shaly ground that's really like Boris had said, a bunch of gravel that's like at a roof angle, that more weight would actually make it collapse more.
Gotcha.
What about Longstrider? Would that help with anything?
That just makes us faster.
Yeah, that would make us go. Yeah.
Kind of a long shot. Do you have spider
You
climb
know you
prepared?
could get across it.
Do you? Oh, there you go. That's
You know
perfect.
you could get across it, but at the same time, it would take strength, like athletics, to forge your way across.
Oh, sorry. No, I don't have spider climb.
Oh, bummer.
All
That'd be so much
We
easier.
take a long rest right now. We just sleep in the rain.
Exactly.
Yeah, we
Let's
sleep
sleep
on
right
this
here.
cliff. Hope you don't
Can
roll.
we stack up some rocks?
All right.
Okay. Are there
Don't sleep
any
on your back, you might
any
drown.
vines or anything that maybe I can?
Not up here.
Okay.
Sheesh.
Well, I think
I
we're
guess
being
we
very
start
pointed.
climbing.
Yeah, let's start.
I'm proficient in athletics, so I'll help you guys as best I can.
And
Thank you.
I'm technically still in my favorite terrain, but it's still just like if it's difficult. I don't know. Like if it's
Put it
climbing
this way,
checks now.
that,
we're
that
making.
if it had been like daytime and sunny and bright,
Yeah, ideal
you probably
conditions.
have no problem just crossing this, and it'd be just a marvel to see you crossing that. But with the storm, it's like the advantage you have has been nullified.
Oh, yeah,
so
it's raining
kind
too,
of like
so
normal. So
we're in a gravel pit / waterfall.
yeah, so
Okay.
the viscosity of all of that
Yeah,
is like,
I
it's just
have-
making things move and shit, and the wind coming down from
Oh,
above
yeah.
I
you,
have
too.
proficiency of athletics too, so we can
Okay.
make
Yeah.
these climb checks
So-
pretty easily.
Rope together or stay separate.
Rope together.
Yeah, we're up together.
I agree.
Okay.
We're all pretty strong. We don't want one
yeah,
person to go
want
tumbling.
where do we want to put me? Because my total weight with gear, because I'm the only person on Earth who pays attention to this kind of crap, is 334.5 pounds.
Yeah, I probably have at least 100 pounds worth of just dragon detritus on me. So
I'm carrying
that a euphemism for
98.2
something?
pounds.
yeah, I think
So
weight
Boris
is,
at the back anchor.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Or I think I'll be the weight what drags you all to your deaths, no
gonna
matter
say, yeah.
where we put me. It's just, do you want me in the front, the middle, or the back?
one.
I would say
I'm just a hair under 280.
I'm
With all my
thinking
gear.
I'm thinking the back going down and the front going up.
It's got we couldn't unrope and just like reverse the whole line. It's just too unstable to do.
Oh.
that.
Let's keep me at the back then, so that way, the largest disturbance is being created by me, so that way you guys aren't climbing in it.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
okay.
All right. So
I'll take the front then.
Then-
for keeping eyes on trail.
Yeah, fair.
as you're starting out going into this,
You have a potion of strength.
I have a potion of climbing, but the strength. Do you want to use it now? Or
We're about to go into athletics hullabaloo. Yeah, I will drink that now and get the bonuses. It's
Yeah.
1 more +1, so I will take it.
yeah, sure.
and should I drink the potion of climbing just to gain that climbing speed and not even have to worry about making the rolls?
I think yes, with you guiding us,
Okay.
or at least getting advantage on the rolls without having to do anything else with it.
Okay.
Because I'm going to try and help you if I'm not next to you.
How long does the potion last of the climbing?
I don't know. I got a name, not a write-up. So I will
Okay, yeah, so look that up real quick.
Google foo.
Mine lasts for an hour.
Right.
Yours also lasts for an hour.
Cool. And it's that write-up. It's do I
Well,
gain
that-
climb speed or is it
Climb
advantage?
speed equal to your walking speed for 1 hour.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
During this time, you have
So
advantage
you're
on...
hoping that should be enough.
Strength athletics checks, you make 2 climb.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so you do have... if this
Okay.
can be construed as climbing.
Yes, you're making athletics checks.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
so
Okay,
you
so
have
rather than
advantage
moving
on
at half
them.
speed,
I'm helping Zelen, so she has advantage on hers, and I'm just rolling straight, but I've got a better plus.
so I both get advantage, and I'm also moving at half speed. So like, do I get double
You're
advantage?
moving. You're moving at.
Well, I'm not.
You're
I'm
moving
gonna
at
be
half speed because you have to, because you're
Yeah.
tied to us.
But no, that makes sense. But having the better
There is no
ability to
double
climb.
advantage.
All right, so
I know that'd be nice though.
so stepping off first, Jacob, and then everybody else with him. So go ahead and roll athletics checks as you hit the gravelly stuff.
All of us or just Jacob?
All of you. Yeah.
Zelen, you've got advantage, so
Roll 2,
yeah, because I'm helping you. Nice.
12,
Where
uh,
are my
Yeah, just give me the
skills?
total
There we
modifiers
go.
if you would.
and I'm adding athletics.
Yep.
Yeah.
14.
Okay.
24.
And I am at 25.
All right. So almost immediately stepping out, and Zelen, you were in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your span of the rope between the two of them, where both Jacob and Boris are keeping their footing and really haven't slid at all. You've slid down to the extent of your rope where it bows that way, and that's going to be probably about 5 feet down from where you are. And so the rope would be like a big U or a V right now, with Jacob up, you're down, and then Boris back up again. And you need to do another athletics check to try to scramble back up as everybody's moving forward. Do it at advantage because Boris is still helping you, and you're roped in.
I rolled 2 12s, so another 14.
Okay, so you've slid to the extent of your rope and are kind of hanging on it at this point, and you're having a difficult time getting yourself moved forward.
Okay, can we hold ourselves in place and kind of use our athletics to maybe just pull on the rope to just hoist her up? If we
Like, so you're both going to pull the rope just to draw her
Yeah.
toward the
Yeah.
middle? Okay, so make another check, Zelen.
wouldn't we make that if we're just trying to actually just yank her up, or
She still has to keep her footing
Oh,
and keep herself strong.
we drag her against the rocks?
It's another 12.
Nice.
Wow.
You need new dice.
Use different dice.
I tried.
So if it wasn't for the rope, Zelen is actually not only, she slipped down to the extent of the rope, so that puts her like about 8 or 10 feet down the hill from you guys, that there's more and more material like sliding out from beneath her that is threatening to undermine where the two of you are standing at this point too.
Oh crap, that's not good.
We don't want that at all.
I have no lifty. Oh, I have Mage Hand, which is way too small of a lifty pulley spell. This is
Do
not
you
good.
want us to climb down a little bit so that way she can get on solid ground, so we can kind of move in that weird triangle over a little bit, so she can get to?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, try
All right, so
that way.
We'll
Try and
lower down to try and
reposition.
get her
Okay,
back
so
on
the
solid
two of you
ground.
do your athletics checks.
That's a 17.
Okay, so yeah, Boris says the anchor is fine. Jacob?
I rolled a 12 this time,
Oh my gosh!
So,
but I have
If
a
I'm
five.
fine and you two drag me to my death,
That's the
okay,
weird
so
thing.
he has a climb speed
I have
though.
a
How
climb
does that
speed, though,
factor
yeah.
in?
Because that whole potion, the reason I drank it is just I have that climb speed.
but does that, is there any bonus to ability score
so
checks
the way that
that it seems to
It's
read
weird.
down?
technically
5e, yeah.
no,
Yeah.
technically no. Having a climb speed doesn't give you a bonus. In 3.5, it gives you a +8.
Yeah.
But in 5th edition, it's you can move 30 feet without needing to make the athletics climbing checks rather than 15 feet or whatever half your speed is.
Okay, that's reasonable.
So technically speaking, no.
With all that, Jacob, yeah, with that potion you've taken, we'll say that even though you slid that way, you were climbing back up as you were sliding. So you're like scrambling on top
Holding in
of the stones
position.
as they're flying
Yeah.
down. You're doing like a cartoon character
Yeah, the
thing, jumping
Legolas
from
leaping from step to step
from-
as the tower's falling.
right.
So
it's-
I'm still rolling with advantage, but because of the potion, my DC is lower essentially.
Kind of.
in essence, yeah,
Yeah.
kind of is the good description. But you managed to keep your place on that. Zelen, go ahead and make that that roll and do your better roll. Yeah.
Good vibes.
20!
Nice!
Then she climbs up past us and starts to pull us up the mountain. Like, wait.
She just like flies.
for the rest of the way across this one, you guys make it over to the first. It was about 60 feet over to
my
like
gosh.
the first island of
That was
road.
something.
Only 90 more.
And as you get up onto that one,
I re-up my light spell right now just so it doesn't run out in the middle of this.
okay, so
That would suck.
everyone make a perception roll as you come up onto the called the island of the road that's set stone.
8. I'm preoccupied with my light spell.
20 plus 8 is 28.
Okay, and
18 plus 10 is a
Bonus
28.
equals my
yeah,
total.
so well, it makes sense. The two that are up front, you had Jacob principally because he's right there in front, Zelen right after him. That you're noting there are bad spots in this, but with your perceptions, you don't need to do anything apart from just direct the others to say, "Ooh, don't step here," because you think that could just collapse. That part of the road. It's so weakened, but just moving a little to the right, a little to the left, you can miss those spots because you made your perceptions across that area.
Feels to me like the bad spots are roughly this general, all of it.
Yeah, right. Kind of. And then Boris is walking where they've walked as they've crossed.
Yeah.
You're fine. So then after about 40 feet of island, you can see you're to another one of those stretches. And again, you
Here we
can
go.
barely see the next island, but it means stepping off to this incline and the gravelly stuff. And Jacob, your first step off, everyone go ahead and make those athletics checks.
Whew.
Let's hear the rolls.
17 plus 3.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so a 20,
Oh, sorry, plus 2, 19.
Jacob
17 plus 5, 22.
and Boris.
7 plus 8, 15.
Okay, yeah. So
Not a 12.
So at 15, that's actually the magic number. You guys can all maintain your footing and not slide down at all.
That was
Thank
slightly
God.
harrowing.
So
Yeah.
you guys cross to the next island. As you're stepping up onto that island, go ahead, everyone, do your perception rolls for this stretch.
14,
15.
16, say it.
12.
Oh,
Well,
What is it with you and 12s today?
I don't know.
wait, this is perception based. I'm in my favorite terrain. I get another plus 3, 17.
all right, so Jacob out front, and you needed that. You needed that because you had actually failed. You stop and go, "Ooh, don't walk right there." And
Does that give me another advantage?
What?
no, well, once the lead person has said, "Don't walk on that," and he's pointing at it, everyone can simply go around
Got it.
and
Okay.
avoid that spot.
Okay.
All right, so you traverse that part of the island. Now, Jacob, as you're looking further ahead across
that island of road.
the next island of road, you're looking across at the next section of this gravelly incline stuff. You can actually see in the periphery where the clouds are and it's raining that there are more trees. That you must actually also be descending as you're.
We're
coming
descending
down
a
the stretch.
lot. It's just if we're descending in the direction
Well,
we want
You're seeing like the tops of trees
Oh,
that are
good.
way
Okay.
down to the right, or down to the right, not to the left. All right, so then for the third
Does that
time,
mean visibility is getting better or just we're
a
with
little
how?
bit because you're
okay.
coming down out of the cloud just a little bit, but it's still very ghost-like images
Chaotic.
of treetops way down to your left-hand
Surreal.
side.
Yay, ghost-like. I
Okay,
love that term.
Third time stepping off.
E.
24.
Okay, so the anchor is fine.
Yeah, 21.
Okay, yeah, so the lead is fine.
The middle is falling. 11.
All right, so at 11. So again, almost immediately, you fall down. That would be 14 feet, but you can't. Your rope's going to stop you at about 10, where, pulls tight from both directions. But almost immediately, all of the gravelly stuff underneath of you is eroding out. The same place you were last time, where it's risking undermining both Jacob and Boris, where they've kept their footing. You need to make another DC. See, at 11. Okay, so it's actually now undermining the two of you. So you guys have now also slid down about 9 feet. So Jacob, you've come down 9 feet. Boris 9 feet. Zell another 9 feet, and it's continued to undermine. This whole place looks pretty bad here right now.
All right, so same thing, kind of going down to get her footing
Yeah,
back and then
trying to
over the side.
relocate.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you two make your athletics checks.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
22.
23.
Yes. So you guys are stable.
You should be the ones you beat me at, though, yeah.
You're
So
right. I've got a +8.
but
You're
you could
grabbing new D20s.
But
I
you can also see it's take a lot more for you guys with her to get back up to that original point.
Sure, yeah.
Yep. All right, let's
So
see what the
as
new one
Zell
does.
is actually making so it's one athletics
Much
check to get
better.
to them.
Nice.
15 plus 2 is 17.
Okay, so you get back up on line with them. Now everyone needs to make an athletics check to get back up to where you were.
Yep. 25.
Another 15.
I rolled
17.
17. Yeah.
I rolled 2 natural 12s for a 17.
Yeah. Whew. So you've all gotten back up to your proper level again, and you can make it the rest of the way across and get to
This is intense.
the third portion of road.
Can I go back to fighting Ettins?
Yeah, right?
Jacob? So everyone, when you step onto
Actually,
this
no,
portion,
I hated that encounter. I almost died.
Can I go back to fighting Ettins?
Okay, fine.
roll your perceptions as you step onto this third section of road.
3.
12.
25.
Okay, so
I don't know.
thankfully,
There's some kind
Jacob,
of message
Today's
trying to
episode
be
brought
sent.
to you by the
There
number
is.
12.
Jacob, again, thankfully out in the lead on this one, points out to the spots where it would collapse and you'd all go just, again, falling right down into that stuff below. But he points it out, so since he's able to, you guys can all traverse it. Before you cross what looks like the last section, Jacob, you can see that the road on the far side is once again adjoining what looks like more solid rock. There's more trees low around them, and then back and behind you, like to your left and down, you can see more treetops as though the storm is starting to lift just a little bit. But it looks like crossing one more of these areas of gravel, and then crossing one more areas of the road, and then you guys are home free.
Okay.
Yeesh.
So stepping off, go ahead and roll those athletics checks for hopefully the last time.
Ooh, natural 20.
Nice.
16 plus 2, 18. Uh-oh, what did our anchor do?
Natural 1 for a 9.
Oh,
Ooh.
no.
Okay, so you're lucky that for a 9. So the end of the line is like sliding way down. And let's see, roll a second athletics check, Zelen, to see if you're pulled down by him.
Sorry.
With just one thing?
Just one, yeah. Because he's not helping you right now.
8.
All right, so then Jacob, roll your athletics check to see if you can hold him and stop the line from sliding any further.
Okay, the climb potion gave me advantage on the climb checks, right?
Yeah, you have
Right.
advantage from that.
Hey, double 11s for a 16.
And you make it.
good.
So you arrest that, and they have. So Boris, you've gone the farthest down, and
Yeah.
so with that slide and then that slide,
By the sound of it, I'm like 20 feet down from Jacob.
Oh yeah, if you got your
Yeah.
full complement, yeah.
so you were just shy of taking damage and tumbling.
Oh, wow.
That, if he had missed his, you'd be taking damage right now. But he stopped it. But that still means that Zelen and Boris have to make their athletics check to get back up, and he can't help you. He's trying to struggle
Right.
back up too.
I'm ready my dagger to cut them loose.
You're right.
Oh,
20!
Nice.
You haven't been helping me all along!
The power was within you. 25.
yeah. So they both scramble back up to your level, Jacob.
Get on my level.
Get on my level, or so help me, I will let you two fall.
For a moment, Boris, there is an opening in the clouds that zooms in on the very top of a mountain, and you know that was the apiary of bad decisions.
Yeah, right.
All right, so you're back to this more solid section of road, but still roll perceptions. But with this one, it's a little stronger. Roll them with advantage.
Oh, nice. Because I
Yeah,
rolled a
it's
6.
Less falling apart.
Ah. 14.
I rolled 2 10s. What is going
Well,
on with
what's
me?
your perception?
18.
Oh, okay. Well,
29.
yeah, so no problems. Everyone's saying, okay, miss, don't step here, don't step here. And when you get past that, you can see that you are now on more, the road continues laid on solid rock. And you are past that area of avalanche, or not avalanche, of landslide.
On solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking gravel.
A
And
little bit.
I lay on the ground and
Get rained on.
contemplate why I didn't turn myself into a mountain goat or
Better not vocalize that because all of us would be so mad.
Oh, man.
All right, so it is still raining up here, though not as hard.
Let's
Do you
find
just
some
want-
shelter.
All right, so
I want to take a nap.
proceeding, Jacob. At this point, you can move at a good pace. You can move the party. I guess you unrope from each other.
Yes.
And you travel for
Let me die on my own, thank you.
that as the clouds are clearing, as you're heading still down, trees are getting more numerous, around you and ahead of you. Jacob, you actually see a griffin between two trees. But then as you guys approach, and you're like this, it turns and goes back into the trees.
Okay, that's okay.
Good
and
fortune.
then when you come through like a certain, you come over a certain rise, you can see up ahead of you is yet another one of these crag-like passes, and you think you'll be there in about a half an hour.
Oh, awesome.
Looking for shelter for now, though, because I'd rather not do that in the rain again.
You are definitely in shelter from the worst of the wind because you're on the east side of this ridge, but it is just pretty miserable. You guys are just soaking wet, been through all that. But with your eyes open, as you're approaching, it rises back up. You're getting to thin trees again. You get right to that pass, and you see two features right away. One, right in this pass, is another circular structure, but instead of this one being bowl-like, this one actually has the remains of wall. And it looks like they're about, being from like 6 to about 11 feet high. The remains of a tower. Boris, about 15-foot thick walls.
Nice.
And then beyond that, and through the rest of the pass, you can look down and see the valley of Sarntar Zul. Thanks for gaming with us. Are you new to Dungeons & Dragons? Send us your questions or test your homebrew at The Empire's Edge on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please support us on subscribestar.com/the-empires-edge.